They are distracting you. Assassin's Creed Shadows is the newest Assassin's Creed game coming out. It is set in feudal Japan with two protagonists, a ninja and also an iteration on Yasuke, commonly known as the Black Samurai, though I'm not too familiar with the history, so I won't be talking about that. However, there's been a massive culture war shenanigan outbreak on the internet in regards to this game and the whole quote-unquote historical accuracy in an Assassin's Creed game. However, I think it's fundamentally doing a disservice to the consumer because it's distracting the conversation away from where it should be on how Ubisoft intends to monetize this game. Oh yes, it's 2024 Ubisoft coming back at you with another banger. You don't get the full game on day one. Yay! So what's going on? Well, it's an Assassin's Creed game, right? Yeah. But earlier this year, with a game called Star Wars Outlaws, which is also a Ubisoft game, they threw day one DLC in the higher editions that cost way more money than the standard edition, which was $70, to some outroar that I also covered back when that happened. But with Assassin's Creed Shadows happening again, they're doing some version of that. There's a big, advertised mission involving a dog or whatever. That's in the pre-order bonus. That's in all the editions. So long as you pre-order any edition of Assassin's Creed Shadows, you'll get that mission. However, read the fine print. In the Season Pass, available only in the Gold and Ultimate editions, and the Gold edition being $110 and the Ultimate edition being $130, by the way.
Actually, $109.99 for the Gold and $129.99 for the Ultimate edition.
Thank you, Twitter. The description on their website, in the description down below, for the Season Pass, if you click on it, the Assassin's Creed Shadows Season Pass includes a bonus quest on day one, with additional unlockable content as well as 2 upcoming expansions. So unless they do not know how to write in English, this tells me that there's multiple quests, or multiple missions, whatever, being talked about here. You have the dog one in the pre-order bonus, and a separate one in the Season Pass, only available at $110 minimum if you want to actually own the game, quotations in that one. Or don't worry, hey, Ubisoft's got you covered, yeah? Nothing to worry about. For $18 a month, only $17.99, you can get the Ultimate Edition with Ubisoft Plus. Hey, that sounds pretty good though, right? So long as you know you don't want to actually own the game, and you still want to pay $18 a month for only Ubisoft, what the? But I digress. Funnily enough, one of the taglines for this game is that information is your weapon, and this information has been obfuscated so much because of the whole culture war shenanigans going on around this game that the real meat and potatoes conversation that needs to happen is not being talked about nearly as much as it should be. Because while people are debating whether or not Assassin's Creed should be historically accurate or not, Ubisoft is trying to normalize this behavior. They tried with Star Wars Outlaws, they actually got some pushback for that one, so it seems they're mixing things up a little bit, or going about it in a new light. Day one DLC for a fully priced game should never be accepted or normalized. They are actively trying to do this with these higher editions. To quote, not quote, but paraphrase the YouTube channel Jim Sterling from years and years back, because this issue stems all the way back then, at this point, $60, now $70 is no longer the price of the game. It's an entrance fee. That's what it is. You don't buy the full game with $70. You don't. You get a version of it. You get some content of the full experience. If you want the absolute full amount of content day one, it's $130. If you want to own the game, and again, nowadays that's becoming more of a blurred concept, or just abandon the idea of ownership altogether and go for $18 a month for Ubisoft Plus. Make no mistake about it, the entire industry is watching Ubisoft this year. They are watching to see if these business practices, while they may stir up controversy, will they be swept under the proverbial rug and forgotten about. Once again, to quote their own website, information is your weapon. Do not abandon it and do not discredit it. These are companies. They want money, they want more money, they want even more money for less effort and in a quicker amount of time. and they're willing to do whatever they have to or whatever they can to achieve that end goal. I firmly believe they absolutely love the conversation and debate surrounding Yasuke right now. They love it because it allows that conversation to drown out this one, because this is the one that'll affect the bottom dollar. This is the one that affects their bottom line. If they can allow this one to slip under the radar and become normalized, it establishes more precedent, more upon than what we already have. And they're hoping that eventually, at some point, enough people will say, it is what it is, and they'll just buy these higher editions. It's wildly anti-consumer in its based form. There's no redeeming quality about this, and there's nothing to defend here. It is strictly operating against your own interest as a consumer. And this is a business practice that many in the industry would love to normalize, because it makes them more money. 3 days early access for a single player game? That sounds meaningless, but it allows them to balloon the price of these editions because it's quote-unquote value now, isn't it? It's an attempt to raise the price of video games, and not something they're hoping to achieve with one fell swoop, but over time, putting brick upon brick and hoping eventually that this builds a house that they can rent out. Day one DLC has always been a plague on this industry. It has always been a negative for a full-priced game, and Ubisoft is leaning into it. Even in single-player games, what we once thought were a bit of a bastion from a lot of the horrid monetization that this industry has seen in modern years, especially in terms of the multiplayer side of things, but now it's seeping its insipid claws into the single-player side of things as well. It's disgusting. It's vile and rancid. And it saddens me that so much conversation I've seen and experienced around this game goes back to the whole culture war, where a bunch of people on internet forums and Twitter will debate about something that they pretty much didn't care about beforehand and won't afterwards, just so long as it props up their own internet position to gain ground and notoriety in their own internet clique at the disservice of actual consumer practices in this industry. It's disgusting to me, and I hate that it's working. I mean, I had no high hopes for this game to begin with. It's a Ubisoft game, but my own feelings aside, that doesn't mean that Ubisoft isn't a massive company with a lot of people that play their games. My position, though, is that this practice should not ever be allowed to be normalized, because others will try and do the same. We had Infinite Wealth earlier this year try to do the same, but slightly different. They wanted to put New Game Plus, and they did, in those higher editions. We had Star Wars Outlaws put an entire mission in the higher editions as well, and now we're seeing Assassin's Creed Shadows do the same. But hey, don't worry, it's not $130 so long as you don't own the game. It's only $18 a month. That's definitely an element here. And honestly, a take that I kind of agree with. I don't know how many people they actually expect to buy the Gold and Ultimate Editions, but maybe they're hoping they can get people to just fork over $18 for a single month, and then maybe enough people may forget about that subscription, or they may be too lazy to take it away. There's multiple insidious angles here, in my opinion. None of them beneficial to the consumer, none of them move the needle of this industry in a more pro-consumer light, but strictly normalize more and more anti-consumer business practices in the video games industry. I sincerely hope this does not gain traction. And with that, I'll call the video there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure for making the video. I'll leave a link in the description down to the pre-order page so you can see what's in all this as well. I've probably showed images throughout this video as well. But yeah, there's an ultimate pack with a bunch of like items and talent points in it as well. It's disheartening more than anything. But leave a comment down below with a game or series you once loved that was ruined by monetization or anti-consumer business practices. And while you're down there, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and help support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody, till we meet again.